Hey everybody, Margaret here.
And of course, William of Townsend.
And we want to talk to you today a little bit about the feudal social pyramid and get a better understanding of what the social system was like in medieval Europe.
Absolutely. So it's a pyramid, just like you're used to, if I can size that up. But the pyramid's very similar to others that perhaps you've learned about in other societies. But instead of starting at the top, Margaret, why don't we start at the bottom?
Perfect. And I actually fall into this bottom category because I am a scullery maid, a peasant. So peasants and serfs at the very bottom, they provide food, they farm the land, and they pay rent to the knights, the vassals, to lords in return of some sort of service, because somebody's always getting something or giving something. So in return of their work, they get shelter, protection, and then food as well.
Yes, and you can see from the pyramid, it's everybody owes somebody something. There's arrows going up and down. So while the peasants really are doing a lot of the hard work, I do the hard work of protecting the land. I keep them safe from rival lords, from rival armies, from rival kingdoms. So I am essential in this society to keeping them safe. In exchange for me keeping them safe, they provide me with the food I need. And in fact, the land that I live on, I'm given that land by the nobles above me. Could you teach us a little bit about the nobles?
Right, so up here we have the nobles, and they are underneath the king, and they provide loyalty and military aid and help the king out with like important military decisions. Up there, and in return, they get, sorry, can't read.
Military aid and loyalty?
Yes, then this one here.
Oh, the fief and the peasants.
Yes, and so in return, and so they get fed, and they get all of like the same amenities as the people below them. They have a place to live and stuff, but in return to the king, they provide military aid and loyalty.
Yeah, and it's more than just loyalty. It's all based around this idea that the king at the top owns all of the land in the kingdom. But of course, he can't rule that land directly, so he gives some of it out to the nobles on this line here. Those nobles are given a huge piece of land that they also need to protect. So they hire knights to protect the land down below. The knights, in order to make the land useful for the lord, because the lord of the land or the landlord is going to be charging me a fee, I am then sort of almost given a village filled with peasants. And that's where Margaret would come in.
Yes, absolutely. So being a maid, I take care of like the manor house and things like that. The cooking, the cleaning, the harvesting of like berries and other things based on the season. And so I am providing food just so this whole thing is working properly.
So to sum up, the king owns the entire kingdom. He gives out small parcels of land to the nobles. The nobles then break their land up and give it to the knights. The knights are sort of in charge of villages, or they help the local lord out to run the land down below. And Margaret, can you just remind us, what's this series of who owes who what here?
Yeah, so like somebody's always owing something in return of something, kind of a give and take scenario all the way to the top. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. Does that answer your question?
It does.
Okay,
Thank you
awesome.
for explaining that.
Yes.
The feudal society can be very complicated. Hopefully we've made it easy for you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.